is a distinguished Ghanaian politician, entrepreneur, and philanthropist who has left a lasting mark on both business and political landscape of the nation. He is the long-serving MP for Assin Central under the ticket of MPP, a role he has held since 2000. Over the years, he has built a reputation as one of Ghana's most outspoken, bold, and influential lawmakers, championing accountability, private sector empowerment, and grassroots development. Beyond Parliament, Kennedy Agyapong is a seasoned entrepreneur and investor. He is the founder and owner of Ken City Media Group, which operates Net2 TV and Oman FM, amongst other outlets, and has business interests spanning real estate, import and export trade, and financial services. Through these ventures, he has created employment opportunities for many Ghanaians and demonstrated his belief in local enterprise as the backbone of economic growth. Within the political arena, Honorable Agyapong has been instrumental in strengthening the MPP and supporting its electoral victory. In 2024, he emerged as a strong contender in the party's presidential political second and securing more than a third of the votes. Building on that momentum, he has renewed his bid to become the MPP's flag bearer, offering himself as a leader in undeserved areas. His generosity and belief in service continue to impact lives far beyond his constituency. While his forthright style often speaks debate, it also reflects his fearless commitment to speaking truth to power. For many, he represents a voice of courage, determination, and action in Ghanaian politics. Today, as he stands at the intersection of politics, business, and social impact, Honorable Kennedy Ohini Agyapong embodies the spirit of leadership that challenges the status quo, inspires dialogue, and strives for a prosperous Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Transformation, indeed, our convener. We need to transform this country. And we start right from here, the future leaders that are here. Nana Chairman, distinguished leaders, colleagues, the vibrant young people in this room, good afternoon. Let me begin by thanking the organizers for bringing up together conference, forgiving my voice. I have cold and I couldn't say no to this program, so forgive me. Conferences like this are not just events, they are mirrors. They force us to look at ourselves as a country and ask, are we doing enough for our youth? The theme we gather under today is powerful. Is there enough youth empowerment? The gateway to sustainable economic development. As usual, I'll be brutally frank. Some speakers were not able to give the answer. I'll give you the answer, and the answer is no. The answer is no because we've had brilliant youth in this country that are eager to do something for themselves. But our leaders and governments have not prioritized the youth empowerment. And even an example that is the gentleman who asked the question about cocoa powder. It looks as if our policies in this country favored only foreign investors. And we, the local entrepreneurs, go through hardships, and sometimes we are treated by the authorities as if we are their enemies. But the gentleman, I want you to go back to the Minister of Finance and ask him the law of the free zones. I have a factory at the free zones, so I know that at least 30% should be sold locally. So if you're going to buy something from the free zones and you've been able to establish that you're a citizen, why should you pay the duty? Go back and ask, so what is the essence of the 30% that they should sell locally? I'll break my thoughts into two phases. The first one is the government role to empower the youth. Any government that do not assure the future of the youth, it means the country itself has no future. Because the youth is our future. So what the government has to do, or any leader with a vision has to do, is to make sure you create an enabling environment for everyone to support, especially their businesses. 2, the exploring talents, but to give them support, the necessary support, to make sure that they realize their dreams. I have a different approach. The theory must end. We have to be pragmatic. We should start from our universities. They should amend their curriculum to include pragmatism. If enough is enough, where I was in Adisado College and I could recite from scene 1 or act 1 to the end of Macbeth, I only got to understand what I was reading in Adisado College when I only went to Fordham University, that I could actually understand Shakespeare. We need to stop that and make sure when we talk about national service, for instance, speakers, an engineer who has completed university and needed experience, when he goes to national service for appointment or recruitment, they gave him a receptionist. How do you expect an engineer to be a receptionist and expect him to deliver? This is what we are confronted with as a nation. At least engineers should be introduced to companies specialized in engineering field to enhance whatever they've learned and the practical experience that will enable them take their destiny into their own hands. This side of the world, and my country, Ghana, our policies do not encourage the youth to take their destiny into their own hands. A country where they believe only the old has the wisdom and the knowledge, I'm afraid we need to change. We have to appreciate the youth, the talent, and their innovations. If not, will be lacking behind when it comes to technology and innovation. Those days when we were in school, when you take math set to exams room, you were disqualified. But today, they take their laptops to the classrooms. We have to accept in the exams room. We have to accept that is the reality now. So we have to embrace it. But when it comes to Ghana, anything about the youth is relegated to the background. We need to change that. Again, as a nation, we need to change the mindset of Ghanaians, and especially the youth. The youth today believe that the only way to make money is to gamble. You see them all over the place, gambling, and threaten politicians who poses tax on gambling. I will pose tax on gambling to deter you, because that is not the way to make a living for the rest of your life. Let us identify young entrepreneurs and give them the support. I will use Asia Miracle as an example. Asia Miracle, the Sanyo, Hyundai, and all those companies were giving support. And the support was that when you fail, you are giving money to buy your equipment. If you fail to use the equipment for what you put on that document before the money was released, they will take it from you. And that time, with all due respect to Nana, Nana cannot beg. Pastor cannot beg. Your uncle cannot beg. They will take the business from you and give it to Mr. B. And because the companies knew that when they from them, they made sure that all the equipment and monies that were given to them were properly used. That is why today we have all these companies. But I have to be honest. Ghanaian businessmen or entrepreneurs, some of them are also very dishonest. When loans are given to them to expand their businesses, they buy treasury bills and use the interest on the treasury bills to service the loan. How? I tell you the truth. I'm a businessman and I know that all these things must stop. If not, the future of our youth is bleak. They cannot do anything. So we need honest, as the nation is expecting honest leaders, the leaders are also expecting honest businessmen and honest youth. Now to the youth of this country, I know you have dreams. How are you going to realize your dreams? Let me share this few points with you. What I call 7 determinants of success. The 7 determinants of success. 1 is vision. You just don't sit here and call yourself a youth and expect government to do everything for you. All the successful people sitting here telling their story, none of them relied on government for his survival. They all work hard. So if you want to succeed as a youth, the first thing you have to do is to have a vision. Dream big. Do things big. Don't be a myopic thinker where everybody, when you explain what you want to do, your own colleagues will discourage you by saying, oh, you are too known, you are this. The moment they tell you are too known, that should be an encouragement to you to push ahead for your vision. Young men, you need to take risk. In life, if you don't take risk, you are not going to succeed. The future belongs to the risk takers, not security seekers. People, I'll give you an example of what I mean by security seekers. You have bank managers, head of corporations, they make money, and all they do is they buy treasury bills. They don't want to take risk. When they buy the treasury bills, they tend to forget that it is somebody who is managing it for them to get their returns. And if I am managing your business to give you, say, 50%, it means I must make 100%. Now, why don't you manage your business and get the 100% yourself? So you have to take risk in all your endeavors. Without taking risk, you can never succeed. You can never be like one of the speakers here. So youth, from today, what you've heard from all the speakers, when you go back home, begin to think through it and be a risk taker. It is important. If not, you are never going to succeed. Again, you should be hardworking. You just don't dream and think your dreams will be realized if you don't work hard. You need to work hard. Normally, every person works for 8 hours for a corporation and goes back home. But when my former minister was sharing or giving her speech, she made mention that she continues to run a family business and also work as a politician. What it means is that she makes money from the restaurant and makes money from politics. Anybody who works once, say 8 hours, and go to his comfortable home and enjoy, do not expect to make the same money as the one who has 2 jobs. Because if politics will give the minister, say, 50,000 a year, restaurant may give her 100,000, and put together, she has made an annual income of 150, compared to the one who works for only 8 hours and makes 50,000. What it means is that former minister has a higher purchasing power because she has 150 and you have 50. She can afford a lot of things which you cannot. The one who earns only 50,000. So you have to make sure you work hard. And if you work hard, the paramount what you have to do with the money you make is to have ability to save. You should be able to save some of your money, no matter how low or small your income is, because of the rainy day. Let me sound political a bit. Going around Western North, Ahafo, and Bono. I saw all the cocoa farms are dying. The cocoa, they can't do anything about it. And I called Cocoa Board to ask. My brother, I'm going around, and the way I see our cocoa trees, what is happening? He said there's a disease called swollen shoots. So what are you going to do? And listen to the sad part. He said, we have borrowed money from World Bank to plant new trees. And my question is, for over 100 years that we've sold our cocoa beans, we didn't think of rainy day that we have to save at least 5%. 5% of our earnings. And today that they have a swollen shoot, they are going to borrow money from World Bank before they can correct the wrongs. It's a shame. So don't be like the government who doesn't save. Save. If you are not married, save 70% of your income. If you are married, the couples should save 30% of their income because of maybe they can have kids. Why I say 70% is that the youth, when they come out of college and they get their first employment, all they think of is to have a girlfriend and a boyfriend. So they need their freedom. They have to be independent. But it comes with cost. Freedom comes with cost. When we are staying with parents, they will not let you pay rent, but at least when you come in, you buy food and bring it. And rent, ask our leaders here, rent takes about 30% of our income that we earn. So if you have a job and you are thinking of your freedom and you go and rent, a friend of mine went to rent in America, rented a place thinking the woman will help her. Meanwhile, the woman was sending money to Kwahu, and it created problems between them. So you need to save about 70%. Stay with your parents for about 5 years. Accumulate capital and use the capital to start a business. You will see that your classmates who had a job and rented a place with a boyfriend or girlfriend will definitely be far, far behind you when it comes to capital. And a day will come that your accumulated capital that you have invested, when you are spending, you do not even feel it because you have enough for yourself. You need to invest your savings. You don't have somebody who came to me, Honorable. In fact, she's my niece. She saved about 120,000 cedis. And came to me, Uncle, I have saved so much. Then I asked her, so what other plans do you have with your savings? And she couldn't answer. Meanwhile, she has master's degree. And all she knows is, look at his bank statement and it's 120. You need to invest the $120,000 by taking risk. Life is full of risk. If you don't take risk, you are never going to succeed. You'll be stagnant. Again, the famous of all, when you hear Agyapong is rich, is this and that, my cardinal principle in business is honesty. Honesty. We have a lot of businessmen who have foreign partners. And when they invest their money in their business, they swindle them. But because of my honesty, as I sit here, a gentleman by me showed me some information that a man from Dubai has checked my background and he wants to meet me. I don't even know him. But anybody going to do business with you these days will check your background first. So if you want to succeed in life, you can be hardworking, you can be anything. But if you are not honest, believe you me, you will fail eventually. So it's honesty, honesty, honesty that will determine your success. Because we are in a global world. People will look at your information and will be willing to deal with you. Even if you approach them yourself, they will go back and check your background and come back again, whether to deal with you or not. So young men, with this determinant of success, what you also have to do is that don't rely on government for your survival. Anybody who will rely on government for his survival, I'll give you an example. The cake is this small, and the whole country, everybody is fighting to get a piece. So how much are you going to get? That is the question. So to succeed in life, don't rely on government for your survival. Start a business. There was a question. It was not thrown to me, but I wanted to give the answer. If you want to do business, you might have the most brilliant ideas. But if you come to me with 0 down payment and expect me to give you 100% of your dreams, I'm afraid I'm not going to do it. I would not want to do it because I give you the money freely, you will spend it anyhow. I want to see your commitment. Even if you've committed 20%, then I will see the seriousness in you for me to invest in you. But coming in with brilliant ideas, and such people, they can really talk to convince you. But I've gone past that. So show commitment that indeed you believe in your product. 2, indeed you believe that the project is feasible. If you are able to commit yourself, then I will consider also assisting you. So young men and women here, it is not magic to be successful. Just simple things. But the government has to do a lot as well. Yesterday, I watched CNN and I was so inspired by Ghanaian women. Let's clap for Ghanaian women. And let's clap for the conveyor. Because all the theories I have propounded to change the paradigm shift, the conveyor said it all. And yesterday, 2 ladies, one, the name, later I got to know that she's a Ghanaian, but one, I kept it. She's called Justin Tete. What they do is mix pineapple with mangoes, dry it, and export. And that business alone, according to CNN, is $8 billion business venture. What are we doing as a country? We only speak big English. When we have to be pragmatic, God has given us this rich land. I'm surprised that Ghanaians are only interested in our natural resources. I can assure you, if we know what to do, our cassava, pineapple, plantain, sugarcane, cocoa are more important than gold. We are lacking a leader who has creative mind and business as well. That is what we are lacking. So we have to make sure that we go back. I think on YouTube, you will see these ladies, what they are doing. Another time, I saw two ladies in real estate, also featured by CNN. It shows that the women are now aggressive. They are not waiting for their husbands to give them chop money. Clap for them again. So what we need is adding value to all our raw materials. We should create businesses in this country, processing our raw materials, agro-processing with the value chain. I can stand here before you here and tell you how many factories I can get out of maize. Maize. I can get corn oil, 1. 2, I can get ethanol. 3, I can get maize flour. 4, I can get poultry feeds. 5, I can produce Cerelac. 6, I can produce corn flakes. What are we doing? We can use cassava for 32 different products. We use cassava for ethanol. We use cassava for starch. We use cassava for powder. We use cassava for poultry feeds. So many things we can do. Cassava biscuits. What are we doing? That is the question. So young men and women here today, this afternoon, if you are fortunate to get government job, fine. But if not, begin to pick mangoes. Begin to pick the pineapples. I have a young man who came to me with 2,000 acres of mango farms and 500 acres of coconut farm. I can tell you, so many things you can do with coconut, so many things we can do with pineapple or mangoes. So young men and women here, let's go into agro-processing. We are not going back to the agrarian style of farming. We are going to use technology, mechanized farming. Then from there, we add value to all our raw materials. And we'll make more money than the gold. Before I take my seat, let me give you an example. If you don't know, the fastest growing economy in West Africa here now is Benin. And he's using 2 things. 1, cotton. 2, tourism. Ghana, we produce cocoa over 100 years. And now we go to World Bank for 500 million. Or we hedge our cocoa for $500 million. A population of 9 million, Benin, this year, the revenue from cotton was $650 million. Strike the average and see. A population of 33.6 million looking for $500 million from World Bank. And a population of 9 million earning revenue of $650 million. That is the question. It tells you that our policies here are fundamentally wrong, and we need to change it. We can solve our problems by using pragmatic approach and not theories. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Grateful for your time.